It's Straight Talk from the Sober Chicks back again, and we're live at the Cape Cod Annual Symposium on Addictive Disorders. And we are here with Charlie Bentz, who is the owner, CFO, and very amazing creator, important person of luxury extended care and transitional living services in Malibu. And can we get a visit to come and see you? That's the main question I have to ask. Absolutely. And Charlie has very nicely offered to be interviewed totally on the fly. We just ran into him in the hallway, and
he's prepping. He's
prepping with two very large cups of coffee right now.
Coffee.
Which is going to be an ironic thing because, Charlie, I'm not going to lie to you. This segment is supposed to be on self-care for people in our field, take my advice, I'm not using it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a person in long-term recovery myself.
Yes.
And the only substance that I do abuse, and I'm not proud of it, I'm just going to speak it, is caffeine. And I'm telling you something, through my pregnancies, which thank goodness I was sober through all my 4 pregnancies, I actually detoxed before and had massive headaches. It was really not pleasant.
I don't drink caffeine.
You are, thank God.
Loser.
So I'm just speaking for myself. But I actually do consider caffeine a wonderful drug, and it increases memory performance as we age. That's all I'm going to say about it.
If you have attention and focus issues, it can help you focus.
It doesn't really help me that much. Or maybe I'd be so horrible without it that I couldn't even work. I don't know. But anyway.
If I drank that coffee before my presentation today, I would be hospitalized.
Okay, but enough about us. Enough about us. And you got into the recovery field from Wall Street. Tell us a little bit about that.
Worked at BlackRock Asset Management, 52 in Park. Well, it was somewhat indirect as it worked out, but I on September 4th, 2001, the day after Labor Day, I checked into treatment in Silver Hill, which is in New Canaan, Connecticut.
Yes, it is. I've been there many times as a professional, and I used to work there.
Yeah, they told me the last week of August just to take a week off and get my head together.
And you missed September 11th. You were in there for September 11th.
I was in there for September 11th.
Wow.
Whoa.
As a Wall Street professional.
Yeah.
Did you think that was a bit like higher power coincidence? Or what did you think about that at the time? That's kind of amazing. I never heard of anyone who, from Wall Street that... Wow.
No, actually, my thoughts were all over the map like everybody else was. And the higher power came to me in a different way, actually, while in there. But not from that perspective, like I was not in New York.
I'm just thinking that's an amazing coincidence.
I thought I wanted to be in New York, actually, back with my gang, my
sort of
people.
feeling like
Did
separated.
you lose anyone that you worked with?
I did not.
Oh, thank God.
I did not. My wife, my former wife-to-be, was also a Wall Street professional.
Your former wife?
To be,
okay.
Yeah.
We're going to let that one go for now because we have a time limit.
Yeah, we can get to that one too.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I've never heard that. I've heard a lot of partner type descriptions, I got to tell you, Charlie. I ain't never heard that one, but I like it.
She had a lot of friends at Car Futures, which is at the top of the Trader Center, and so she went on a binge while I was in rehab. I was a daily drinker. I was sneak drinking, actually, a quart of vodka every single night. That's
a lot to sneak.
It is.
That's a big bottle. Did you have little tiny bottles?
I would carry around Poland Spring bottles or some other water bottles filled
You're
with
not
vodka.
the first that I've heard. It's Poland Spring.
Poland Spring is the choice of alcohol.
It is the choice of hiding, like, clear
It's the
alcohol.
choice of alcoholics.
This is the
Look,
second
you can
one.
hide it in the
Anywhere.
recycling bin.
You can put it anywhere you want. And
Well, I know people that had it at
very
work.
nosy and sniffs.
Well, if you have it on your table, no one knows they think it's water.
No one knows they think it's water.
We don't want to give people ideas. I'm sorry.
We don't want to give people ideas, but we already knew that.
But I was in detox for 6 days. On the 7th day or 6th night or something like that, they released me into the general population of rehab. And I remember having this birth of empathy within me because the rehab was exploding. Everybody was in fear and let's nuke everybody and that kind of stuff. But what I experienced actually was I felt bad for the people who worked at Silver Hill because I figured that they were in the same circumstance that we, the clientele, were. We're all locals and we all knew somebody in the city and they had to hold it together, and we're in a mental hospital as the patients and we can act like we want.
You know what's interesting when you're speaking, it's making me think about is when people
We're not
are
going to be
going
on topic, but I like this.
No, this is actually on topic.
Better.
Are you ready for how I'm going to bring it all back?
back?
Are you ready?
Bring
I'm going to circle it back. Here we go.
Circle it back.
Bam. Okay. So when people who are healthcare professionals, like the ones that were in the hospital at the time, are going through their own trauma and their own hard times, how hard it can be to help other people with their pain. So if you're not working through
yes.
your own pain, how hard that is to be giving when your battery's depleted.
Because I was running an adolescent treatment center the day of 9/11, and 3 of the kids in the treatment center had parents who worked in Manhattan, 1 in the World Trade Center. And thank God her dad came out okay, but we didn't know that. And most of my staff members were okay with it. One staff member was really funny because I decided we always fed them healthy food, but I was like, fuck it, we're getting pizza. Fuck it.
It was one of those days.
But we just, junk food, fine, we sat. And I wouldn't let one of my staff members wanted to keep the TV on. I'm like, nope, re-traumatizing, done. And then we sat, and I had a couple staff members who said, I have to go home, I can't. They didn't have people. If they had people, I would have sent them.
No, it was
they
just
knew
too much.
They knew they couldn't be with the kids, and I said, that's fine. You go, and it's very, because of course everybody was being traumatized, and you should write that maybe as an essay, because we're not doing it justice right now.
Okay.
Well,
because we're
too powerful.
But it's a very powerful thought.
How about that?
No, it's true. So that was your first moment of empathy. Now,
Yeah, rebirth of that.
And you've had a few others.
Rebirth, not
Rebirth
first,
of
I meant
empathy.
in recovery.
Then it continued, actually. So I was in the meeting, the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, on either that night or the next night. I can't remember. And the woman who came in was an extremely powerful speaker, and the circumstances in that meeting were just, I could feel it. It was powerful. There's fear, there's pain, there's angst, there's everything. And so I took a moment, and I said a couple serenity prayers, and I got this warm, fuzzy feeling in my head. Wow. So I had a spiritual awakening at that point in time, which brings us right back to, that concept of, was there some sort of higher power involved? And that's where it came in for me. So I connected in that manner, and I said, hi, God, it's Charlie. And
I'm back.
Said, wow, this is weird, God. What's this? 17 years of Catholic school and nothing like this. And I said...
Dude, I'm a Catholic school survivor, too.
And I said, hey, I think I'm going to be okay. But everybody else in here is really fucked up. And they're going to need your help.
Dude, that reminds me of, can I use one of my best jokes on you?
Absolutely.
My 11-step prayer, which I still say sometimes. I'm not proud of it. God, thy will be done. But if you haven't made up your mind, I have some excellent suggestions, and I have some people that got to be fixed. They need some help, people.
That's good
Right?
stuff. Is this a laugh track or is this me?
No, it's true, but I like you. We got to have you back to life.
I know. I almost think we should can we cut your laugh out and just put it on a loop?
No.
Every time we say something funny, we need a laugh. Then you have a good laugh.
I can't believe we laughed right after that. But can I bring that back? Because Charlie, you know what I like about you?
What?
You're obviously somebody who uses humor in your self-care.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I offend people with my humor. Do you see how much
Me too.
You're so you had a rebirth of empathy. Right now, she just had a rebirth of empathy.
I feel like everybody has some laugh.
Absolutely.
Well, that's part of our podcast.
I'm the funniest person of all to laugh at myself.
Absolutely.
And we also laugh at each other.
All day long, Ben. All day long with you.
So part of why we started this podcast was because we also want to bring some humor into what is kind of like a heavy field.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
There's some levity there.
No, there is. But
so many
sometimes it can
people, like, okay, you're not going to have humorous events every day when you're working with,
well, depending on how you view them. But.
I mean, we kind of do, but we're outpatient. But
Yeah.
I did too when I was inpatient. But
depends on the
to
people
be
you're working
able,
with.
what is humor? But the spontaneous connection of two people without words, it's just you laugh and you're sharing a moment, and it's a way to regain control. Actually, this is what the researchers say. I didn't make this up. I'm not going to take credit, although I don't know which researcher said it. It's a way of taking control in a way over a situation.
And distancing.
And accepting it at the same time and distancing. So Charlie, do you use humor a lot in your recovery? For self-care?
Absolutely.
You do. You seem that way. You seem like a spontaneously fun-loving person. What else do you do? I saw pictures of your hot tub. I'm not going to lie.
I do a lot of time in the hot tub.
You try to work out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I try to work out with some level of consistency at least 5 times
And your
a week.
experience this morning?
Oh, no, you got to tell the self-care story. This is funny, folks.
Which one was that?
The
gym trying to get...
Oh, that one.
Okay.
All right. So,
By the way, folks, he's down to half a cup of coffee from 2.
I wanted a venti Americano with an extra shot, and
we didn't have it. We had cheap coffee in a paper cup. With the coffee.
So I went out. I went for a run on Friday morning here. So I go out and I do about 30 minutes of running. Okay.
Here is Cape Cod, by the way.
It's raining, so I'm a little bit wet. I'm like, the drought's over, and I'm like, not in California anymore. So the drought. But so I go down.
We've been droughting here, but not as bad.
I'm gonna go down into the gymnasium. I'm gonna do a steroid-free Hulk out, and I have my headphones on, and they stop me at the front desk. Not only they stop me, but she stays on the phone while she stops me. I have to wait for her to then tell me that I'm too sweaty to go into the gym.
It's like shower before the pool, but shower before the gym. I love it.
He didn't offer me a towel. He didn't offer me anything. No water, no agua frio.
We're going to talk to the hotel staff about that for you, Charlie, because they didn't know you were VIP.
If you want to talk about self-care, let's get some rest. Let's try to eat regularly. It doesn't necessarily. My former wife-to-be was also an undiagnosed eating disorder, so we really can't eat something rather than nothing. Get some rest, exercise, and for me, being in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, though, I don't know if that's a violation of that one. But it's
this is the new trend that we can say whatever. Meeting.
So it's always been my go-to move, and quite frankly, it was the first thing I was actually capable of. Go to a meeting. I could show up. I couldn't show up on time.
And they'll never say you're too sweaty at the meeting.
They don't.
No.
Even if you're in
detox.
They
accept you for your sweat.
If you go to an Al-Anon meeting, they might. It's a little scary.
Wait. You know why, Charlie? I'm gonna have to reframe that for our audience, because I believe there's many people in our field who are not in their own recovery from addiction who would benefit from Al-Anon
100%.
and CODA.
100%.
Because we all get a little codependent. Like, even if you didn't, I happen to be in my own personal recovery.
Yes.
What do you call it?
But
CODA.
Cody.
We're all Cody. Every single person that feels a little Cody, baby.
It's a killer. It's so dangerous.
It's so dangerous. And the self-care deficits with some people with codependency. And I believe I've met people in the field who didn't start out codependent and working in this. Let's admit, it could be cray-cray the field. Can we just say?
Mick Jagger said, all my friends are junkies.
That's
not really true in Monkey Man.
That's not really true. There you go. One of my favorite songs, on headphones especially.
But it is pretty much true.
It's pretty much true. Because, can I just mention my mentor?
Absolutely.
Although I hope he never hears this podcast because he doesn't know the side of me all the bad language.
That's okay.
But he wrote a book. It's actually the compilation of his lifetime work.
Yes.
And he called it Addiction as a Human Process. And what Dr. Edward Cancian says is that do not human beings use all levels of addictive process to deal with reality.
Yes.
Some of us are just kind of on the, let's just say, I'll speak for myself, on the lower level where anything friggin' goes. But then doesn't everybody have their own level? So whether it be shopping or perfectionism or this or that or worrying about things that really don't matter, we all have a tendency to have an addictive process when we're not feeling good. So you could start out without that kind of addictive process, working in this crazy field. You can develop it, right?
And I am pondering actually trying to develop my characteristics of dissociative personality disorder. So it's a go-to.
So you want that disorder.
Not be present. Absolutely.
So you're actually trying to get that disorder. That's a new one.
Check out.
Now this is another thing of self-care. It's new. So it's early in the study phase.
It's early in the development.
And it's N of 1. That would be Charlie. I don't think it's going to work with you,
I
dude.
could mention my mentor. My mentor, he also... it was called The Great Shark Hunt, I believe, and it was Hunter Thompson. It was an early collection of his writings.
Oh, but he never got it.
I know. I have a major resentment, truthfully, towards Jan Wenner. I think Jan helped with that situation in a negative way.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the publisher of Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, yeah, because Hunter wouldn't have been... Well, I bet they thought he wouldn't have been as fun sober.
I think he would have been more fun.
He would have been more fun, and he'd still be with. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know, dude. Can we just give a shout out
to whom?
To your program. You can describe your program just real quick though. Elevator speech.
Malibu Beach Sober Living. We do long-term transitional living in Malibu, California. We have 4 locations. We customize continuing care plans for everybody by matching diagnosis and resources with professional. And we're on the verge of really doing some new cutting-edge stuff with respect to chronic pain. long-term extended
Oh, you
care
know what?
programs for
Such a
chronic
desperate
pain.
need.
Absolutely.
In closing,
We must remember to take our recovery seriously.
but please do not take yourself too seriously. This is signing out for the Sober Chicks.